Hey everyone, it's Keely here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's soap making video where we're going to go and make the third and final locally inspired soap. And this one is called Moo-Laney and is a little bit of a play on words. So this soap was actually inspired by a country town called Maleny, and it's about 20 minutes away from where our house is. So it's about 50 minutes away from the shop, and it's a beautiful country town. There's lots of boutique little shops, fabulous restaurants with great views out to across the hinterland and out to the ocean as well. Really lovely area. But what Maleny is really well known for is its Maleny milk. There are lots of cattle farms up at Maleny, and they have some of the nicest milk. When I used to be able to drink milk, I used to like Maleny milk. So I was actually inspired to create a soap using some Maleny milk. So I headed off down to the supermarket, went and got some milk, and then we're going to make the soap. Let's go and check out how I make Moo-Laney. Let's go. Alright, so I have got my bottle of Maleny milk here. I went with the full cream. There's actually a skim, I think there's a regular and a full cream, and I went with the full cream just so we get a really nice, creamy, luxurious soap. And I am just going to weigh out the amount that I need. Now, as I've done with lots of other soaps in the past, I don't have access to a freezer to be able to freeze additional liquids. So this is how I add extra liquids into my soap. I've done a lye solution, which is almost a 1-for-1, and then I add the rest of my liquid in. So for example, if my formula calls for 200 grams of liquid and I have 100 grams of lye, I would do 100 grams of lye, 100 grams of water, and then 100 grams of an extra liquid. That is not what is in here. That's just to give you an example. So now that I have my milk in here, let's get on with making the soap. Alright, so I've got my oils here. We've got that milk we just measured out. Now, so that we don't scorch it with the lye solution here, I am going to put my milk into my oils, give that a bit of a scrape to make sure we've got all of that beautiful milk out of here. And then we'll add in our lye water. We'll give it a mix. And then I am going to split it out for a couple of colours here. So I've just mixed that so it comes to an emulsion. It's not quite at trace, because I know that the fats and sugars in the milk are going to make this move a little bit quicker. And I do actually want to do a layer on the bottom of my soap. So I have poured myself off a little bit of Hello Spring by Nurture Soap. And then with the rest of this bucket, I have 2 more jugs here. One of them I have got some activated charcoal, the other one we've got some titanium dioxide. We'll see what colours they come up and see whether or not we need to darken them a bit more. But basically I'm going to split the rest of this soap between these 2 buckets. We'll get the colour mixed in, and then I'm going to add in the fragrance, and I'm using one I've used a few times. It's called Balance, and I went with this one because it's just got these beautiful, fresh, clean notes to them. I know, well, in previous soaps it's behaved quite well. I used it in things like my rice water soap, so it did actually accelerate in that because I had that rice water in there, and I'm sure that actually contributed to the acceleration. But I've used it in a few other soaps, and it's always been really popular, so I thought I would use it in this one. So I'm going to finish getting this scraped out, divided between them, get that fragrance in, and then we'll come back and we'll do the soap design. Actually, before we mix those colours, I'm going to work with the green first, because I'm going to do a layer in the bottom of the soap, and while this sets up, then I can work with those 2. bottom layer to look like grass. Now I know this looks like a really khaki, horrible color right now, but as soon as it saponifies, it should go into a beautiful bright green. It usually has done so in the past for me, but I never rely on what things have done in the past, because if you do, that's when you kind of get a little bit disappointed. I'm just using a stainless steel spoon here just to put tiny little peaks into it to try and make it look like blades of grass that are going to be standing up. Grass in there, going to get these colors mixed up. It's starting to thicken up. I really hope this design is going to work. We'll get that fragrance in, which does loosen it up a little bit, and then I think I'm going to have to work quite quick to get this all together, so I'm going to put music to it. Basically I'm just going to alternate, hopefully pouring the black and white into the mold. So let's see what happens. Top of this very simple, just do a few little swirls with that black and white. I actually have 3 different types of limited edition soaps in my range. I do a limited edition, which is just a plain soap. It just uses a fragrance oil and then some nice colors all swirled together, and they're kind of like my cheapest soaps. And then I have the decorative soap bars, which are the ones that I do with the flowers and the, you know, the molded animals and stuff like that. And then I have the little extra, and this is a little extra. And when I do a little extra, it is the ingredients that are the showcase rather than any decorative sort of touches to them. And so in this one, it's going to be that Maleny milk. So we're going to keep this one very simple. I'm going to leave it like that. So we've got the green on the bottom for the beautiful cow pastures, and then the black and white for those beautiful black and white cows that you see around. I know there's so many different types of cows, but I just thought we'd go for that classic black and white. We're going to leave this one set overnight, and we'll see what we've got on the inside soon. Alright, it is the next day and it's time to cut into Moo-Laney, and I am loving it. I told you that green would come up really nice once it saponifies. Let's get this one on to the cutter. We'll make sure that we get some nice ends cut off here as well. So let's get that. That looks like a pretty good end. We might just bump it down just a tiny bit, and let's cut through and see what sort of black and white swirls we've got. I was trying to go for that real classic pattern that you get on the cows. Oh, it is not looking too bad. Love how those colors have come up, and it smells so good. This fragrance oil always smells so clean and fresh, and it just kind of really reminded me of really open fields. So they are going to be, you know, pretty much the same the whole way through. There's nothing too fancy going on, but like I said, with these soaps, these little extra soaps, it is all about the ingredients, and having that full fat cow's milk in here, it's just going to make this bar so luxurious and creamy and just feel absolutely amazing on the skin while using it. And it will have some of those natural sugars as well, so it will create a beautiful lather. But I'm really pleased with how that came up. It really just says to me, you know, cows out in a beautiful green pasture. Really like that bar and how those swirls, almost like a tiger stripe that we got going in that one. And then it always amazes me just how different the soaps can be as you go along them. I hope you've enjoyed coming along as I made my Moo-Laney soap. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.